Cardinal fans, if we're being realistic, we know that the 2025 offseason is not going to bring in any big name free agents. Yeah. So today on Card Central 365, presented by DraftKings, the crown is yours. I thought, Ryan, we would look ahead maybe to a year from now at next offseason. And one of the big reasons why this kind of jumped out at me, we're seeing kind of off-season stories coming out now that 26 teams are currently not playing baseball. Right. Tarik Skubal, Detroit Tigers. 1A, 1B up there with Paul Skeens as best pitchers in baseball. He and the Detroit Tigers apparently are nowhere close to a contract extension, which would make him the premier name in the 2026 free agent class.
Yeah, the report was last year what he turned at. The Tigers offered a $100 million extension for 4 years, which, I mean, I guess coming off one Cy Young was still lowballing it just because you know what he was. But now that he's repeated it again and he's had the success, and I think that's the thing that, look, there are a lot of things that will drive markets up, that'll take rational and move it to irrational. And that's what we've seen with guys like Juan Soto and, all of these different things. What he's done in the postseason is why every single contender is going to be like, this is a guy we will get silly to get, right? We will take him. He's made 6 starts in the postseason, a 2.04 ERA, a fielding independent pitching, which is basically, let's see what the pitcher did and we'll take the fielders out of it. A sub 2 at 192. His strikeout per 9 is higher than the regular season. His strikeout to walk ratio is higher than the regular season. His hits per 9 is lower than the regular season over just the last 2 years. Yeah. Not looking at his entire career. So he's taken Cy Young performances, because he's going to win it for the second time in a row this year. He's taken Cy Young performances and said, that's cool. I'm going to be better on the biggest stages. Yeah. Like every single team that has any idea of potentially competing. I mean, he's the kind of guy that could get the Cubs to spend money, right? Yeah. So everybody's going to be talking about it. That doesn't put the Cardinals in great position, but it is an interesting jumping off point, like you were saying.
Right. Yeah. And when you look, and again, like we have, history tells us that the DeWitts are not going to go out there and sign a free agent pitcher who is not already within the organization to a $400 million deal. Like I think we could sit here and we can accept that, maybe Chaim Bloom talks them into spending a little more, but not that. But if we're looking ahead at what is out there in 26, there are a lot of layers to peel back with anything related to 26. The number one being, is there going to be baseball in 27 to even pay guys?
A whole different conversation.
Right? Yeah. But it does make it a little easier to sit here in 25 and go, we know they're not going to go out there and spend anybody, but we can look at maybe something will be figured out by then, and we'll have something to actually talk about when it gets there. And you can kind of look at the list of names that I know you have in front of you and kind of say, all right, like who's available?
It's going to be interesting because I think a lot of it will depend on kind of where the Cardinals are in the Chaim Bloom era, like what step of development. Because you look at the potential. I mean, let's start with the starting pitchers, right? Because that's going to be a thing. That's where you go out and make a splash and help a young team take that step. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of guys who are going to be in their mid to late 30s that are potentially where you could see maybe a fit with the Cardinals on a 2-year deal, right? One in an option. Let's see what you got left. Prove that you're still there. I mean, not in any particular order, but Chris Sale could potentially be there. Kevin Gossman, Freddie Peralta, Sandy Alcántara. It was an interesting name. Would be full circle, maybe coming back. Shane Bieber, Corbin Burnes if he opts out. Jack Flaherty.
Another full circle name.
Yeah, another full circle name. I mean, Sonny Gray is going to have a club option at that point. Jesus Luzardo, Robbie Ray, who's been kind of hit or miss his entire career. And again, these guys are all going to be on the downsides of the career. Skubal's the guy out of this class that is going to break the bank, and the rest of them are looking at probably 3 years max.
Yeah.
but that could fit what they could be looking for.
And also on top of that too, like we sit here and complain about the Cardinals not going and putting the resources forward to go out and get a guy like Skubal, but there are going to be a lot of teams out there that will be sitting and waiting for that domino to fall.
Yeah.
Like there will be 5-6 teams out there that are going to wait and say, hey, we like a lot of those guys that you just named, but we're not going to, we aren't going to move on to plan B or plan C until, plan A decides where he's going to land.
Yeah.
Where the Cardinals are already looking at it and going, well, that's not our plan A. We can go out there and get somebody right now. And one of those players could easily be sitting there and saying, I don't want to wait. I want to go out there and get this over with and be done and know where I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the longer Tarik Skubal stays on the market, as a free agent, the better it is for teams like the Cardinals who are not in that mix. But I guarantee you, every team that is going to be in the Skubal sweepstakes is hoping he signs early so they can get on with their lives.
Right.
That's what they're hoping. And we've seen maybe a tendency towards earlier signings the last couple of years, not directly as soon as free agency opens. But I mean, you think back to a couple of years ago and Bryce Harper, I mean, he signed in spring training.
Yeah.
I was in Florida. I was in Clearwater the day that he signed. And so I shifted my plans and went over there when they made the announcement. That's how late it was. We haven't seen that as much anymore. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that domino teams are hoping, the teams that are hoping that they could sign him are hoping it goes down fast. And the teams like the Cardinals who are looking to maybe, hey, let's give somebody money up front. Let's get this done. Are hoping it lasts as long as it can.
Hey, all content here on STL Sports Central brought to you by DraftKings. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code STL Sports to grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live on December 1st. That's code STL Sports in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promo. So Ryan, kind of back to the original question here with this. I mean, this year, when you look at the 2025 list, you're going to start very low on the list of, all right, like who can throw innings, like who can just pitch innings, who can go out there every 5th day, 6th day and go out there and just get me 5 and, maybe give up 8 runs. I don't know, Andre Palante, maybe in other
right.
But at least, the hope is that by 26, we can move a little higher on that list when we start looking. Like we don't have to skip down, first 5 names, no, and then go.
Yeah, literally just like scroll to the bottom of the page looking at that. Yeah, that may not be the scenario in a couple years. But, I mean, next year, if you're looking for a rotation, I don't want to say rotation fillers, right? Because we saw this year for all the Cardinals struggles, they were still alive for the playoff chase in the last week, right? So you can, if you're Chaim Bloom, you can pitch it as it might be something in 26, but it could be good in 27. And if things go right in 26, we could be in that conversation. So, a guy like Merrill Kelly is, when we talk about innings eater, a guy who can be in that rotation, who's had a lot of success with the Diamondbacks. Ranger Suarez is a guy you could even give him like a contract and say, you have a chance to be the ace where you've been behind Zach Wheeler and Christopher Sanchez and Aaron Nola. And he's played a big role in what they've been able to do. Now, I'm not saying the Cardinals should go after him. And, Suarez could be like, I've been on a team that's been winning and a World Series contender. I don't want to make that shift. Yeah. But those are the kinds of things that the Cardinals could potentially do as they're looking at whether, if they trade Sonny Gray, they're going to have to fill with innings. It's in some way, shape, or form. And those are the kind of guys that they could think about. And I'm certainly they're having internal discussions about it.
Let us know your thoughts on this free agency this year. And then if you're looking ahead at all to the 2026 class, which apparently is going to be headlined by Tarik Skubal, the soon to be back-to-back American League Cy Young Award winner. That's going to do it for our Friday edition of Card Central 365. He's Ryan Fagan. I'm Joe Roderick. We'll talk to you tomorrow.